All right, got our fourth game of the night coming your way. Dusty versus Team Singularity. And the Dusty roster has a little bit of a shake-up too. You'll have people like M-Test and Balu, who you'll recognize, but a couple of new faces on the top side of the map coming through for Dusty. Singularity, though, unchanged from the previous split, and still a very strong roster to contend with.
Yeah, and I think that this kind of Singularity is the one that we expected to possibly make an upset. In the previous split, we saw them fighting, tooth and nail. We saw all the memes about the Singularity mid-game, particularly rising up. It's Singularity great in the early, great in the late. But that mid-game decision-making was a little bit shaky. So throughout this season, I just want to keep my eyes, specifically because they kept the exact same roster. They do believe in this roster. It looked really strong. And I want to see what will change between these two splits to sort of figure out that mid-game that they were lacking so bad at in the previous one.
And the expectation should be higher now. Like this split, this team has had a whole split together. They have had issues, but the individual talent is there. They should be developing from that. And they should be bare minimum looking to retain their spot of fourth. But obviously, you're aiming to improve on that. You're aiming to go further and try and climb up. So against Dusty, who I think as a roster are definitely, compared to the top four, I wouldn't peg them there as of now. They should be coming into this strong and definitely, for me at least, as the favored side.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Like, not very often do we get to see teams stick together, especially teams that are usually outside of those academy rosters, and really just kind of like put the couple of splits in and see how the team works. Given that they've had this much time together, they should start to be sort of hitting the high level of play that we expected from the quality of this roster as well. So I'm really, really excited to see Singularity out, but also like this revamped Dusty roster. You've got a couple of new faces in there. Dusty have been a bit hit and miss in the NLC. This will be a good test for them. Singularity have always been considered like the, third, fourth potentially team in the NLC. So getting a win against Singularity early on is a good sign for the new Dusty roster.
I am a big, huge fan of M-Test. It felt like M-Test could win any single bot lane he wanted last split, and it shows in the bans here against Singularity as well. They really do respect the bot lane of Dusty. The Kog'Maw is out, the Tankmo, I should say. The Varus is out as well. Of course, Lee Sin is one thing that we see go through every time on the blue side, but I'm just waiting to see what the reply really is here, because I want M-Test to get like a really, really strong ADC. And the first thing that jumps to my head is possibly something like the Kai'Sa, but it doesn't really pair up very well with the Thresh. So potentially Jinx and Aphelios maybe?
Yeah, like one of those, Thresh is one of those, as you said, get out of jail free cards for the more immobile AD carries. So Jinx has been a relatively popular pick throughout the tournament so far. So wouldn't be too surprised to see a Jinx locked in early on. But the set goes over to Dusty, something that I think was banned in the previous game, and we haven't seen a huge amount of it otherwise. But we'll get locked in here for Dusty early on.
Yeah, we saw the changes come in where he has really high scaling with bonus attack damage, so a much more AD focused build for the set than when we had the tank set a lot earlier when the champion came out, and pretty good into the Lee Sin in terms of countering his engage. If he tries to dive in, you can just ult him, grab him, throw him into his team. I think leaving the AD carry here is fine the side of Dusty. I don't think you necessarily have to commit to it there. My only concern is by leaving the jungler open and available, you're kind of in a position where you're either going to miss out on picking a jungler or an AD carry in this first rotation, and they're likely going to get banned away. And instantly Singularity taking the Rumble, really strong power pick. And if they do lock that Seraphine, then their comp's already looking really strong in these team fights.
That'll be the time Kench that gets locked in as well.
Okay, so the Tam Kench obviously gets locked in because the Thresh has been locked in, and both of these teams have completely disregarded the fact that they want to get like an S tier ADC, and there's many of them. So there's 4 bans remaining. If they all fall onto ADCs, Thresh could end up with an ADC like a Kai'Sa, which is not the best combination, right? So far, you've got a Jinx that's out and available, and a Aphelios that's out and available. You've got these more more immobile ADCs that can output the outmost damage scenarios out there. And as you can already see, like Dusty has already started banning out the ADCs. The most obviously would be the Senna Tam Cans, since Varus is out of the cards already. And I'm waiting to see, because clearly both of these teams have the scenario of, okay, we're going to have immobile ADCs. We have both of the get out of jail free cards with the Tomcats and the Thresh. But what if they both end up with something like a Tristana and a Kai'Sa? Kind of, it's a little bit questionable on that matter.
Yeah, I feel like that for the side of Dusty, I think there's picks. I think getting an AD mid would be ideal in this situation instead of the Nidalee. You need something that can contest priority, and I think I'd prefer them to leave the AD carry until last pick, just so you can know what the comp's going up against. Because already with the Rumble Lee Sin, I feel like any AD carry you take is going to have a lot of threat. I actually think potentially the Desire could even be an option depending on what Singularity take, just because it obviously has that ultimate to kind of dodge away from the Equalizer. Because I've seen plenty of games where just a Rumble ult alone, you don't even need to have like a proper engage. Just throwing that down can be enough for so many issues with the mobile AD carries, particularly if the Rumble gets ahead. So I'm a little bit concerned for M-Test, and obviously he's a big part of this roster, someone who we have eyes on. So we'll have to see what comes through, but I expect a mid pick.
Dark Tech, you pick the Lucian mid and you put Ziggs bot. And that could actually work so beautifully, because you have the Thresh with the Ziggs for the anti-dive, and you've also got the set. You've got so much survivability and kill for the champion, and you're technically missing a lot of that AP. This Tristana, again, could be mid lane Tristana. It could be something that can contest, like Dan mentioned, the priority mid lane, so you can move around the jungle with the Nidalee, so you can give her what she needs, which is a buddy to move around and wreak havoc on the Rift. So I really like that they've left this question at the end for Dusty, where they're like, we have the red pick, we can put Tristana technically wherever we want at this stage. Even Set could be mid at this point, and they're just still playing around with the draft.
Oh, Ashe gets locked in here for Dragda. So sort of a controlling type AD carry in the backline to support the Lee Sin and the Rumble here. And we'll see what their final pick gets locked in. I assume it's going to be their mid lane, though of course we can see that Lee Sin flex between the two. We've already seen it both top and mid throughout this tournament. And looks like if the Aatrox gets locked in, this will be a Lee Sin mid then for Fury in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think Ashe makes a lot of sense. I think with the AD carries left open, as one of the few that actually go well with Tahm Kench. So kind of shoehorned into that by taking the Tahm Kench early, and then I think Aatrox is a really good signature pick for Wazor, so it makes sense in that regard. A lot of team fighting power, but it really comes down to Dusty. I think Tristana would be fine to go bot lane. Like, having the jump, you're not too much of a vulnerability there. And they end up going for Jace, so a lot of poke on the side of Dusty available already, but still a lot of engaged tools on top of that. Whereas I feel like Singularity are kind of relying on the Ashe arrow to start a fight. I mean, they could throw down the Equalizer, but it's not always the best way. I feel like kiting back works really well for them, but I feel like Dusty potentially just having the set able to come in and dunk people will be a pretty solid advantage.
So here's the thing, Singularity have gone more with a skill check, if you will, kind of composition, where Wazor is going to have to find the perfect flank to try and get into the backline, and then you've got a Thresh out there. You've got, like Dan mentioned before, a set that will completely throw you back into your own team. So yes, you've got the skill check, yes, you've got the kite back, but on the other hand, Dusty have got a really hard, heavy poke composition, and there's no healing on the side of Singularity. So once they've poked you hard, one Thresh hook, one set engage can set up the entire pace of a team fight.
Well, I mean, I think this is one of the more potentially more even games we're going to see today. I think a lot of people favoring Singularity in general, but obviously Dusty coming in with a new roster could certainly surprise people. And like I said, if Dusty come out of this with a win, it'll be a really big boost for the early season here in the NLC Summer Split. We have our beautiful casters ready to take away. So Gulborg and Hiprain, fourth game in the light. Let's hit it.
Thank you very much. Let's hit it indeed, Scoundrel. We're getting ready to go into our fourth game of the night. Right, what are you making of these? What do you like here? What do you dislike?
I mean, it's always a nice sight when we see the same priorities of Thresh for Balu. Like, it seems a bit out there that it's still a champion that people will first pick, despite the nerfs. We know a lot of teams have kind of went away from the Thresh, whereas last season, or at least last split, it was really like just, okay, let's first pick Thresh, it's up. But Balu, this is just his #1 champion. He's picking it up with M-Test, and you can see Balu, M-Test, and Zombie all played on a team together before. They played Unique on Unique in the fall. So I think they got got some tools to make it work, and they said it quite nicely on the analyst desk as well. It seems like there's some more consistent engage on the side of Dusty, whereas on the side of Singularity, you do have to be a bit more creative with it, but I still feel like they will have ways to facilitate it. Aatrox with a flank still has a lot of CC, Fury with the Insect, yes, the Ash Arrow, and then of course Nolty with the Equalizer. So I feel like around objectives, if you have the pressure, there's still a lot of ways for you to start a fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're on to the Rift as your MasterCard Nexus insights do come up. I love these little things. I always forget to read them.
Nice.
Because I'm trying to think about what to talk about, but they do come up. There you go. I didn't read it all, but they kept their current roster. And that's
Oh
as far
my
as I
god,
got.
you're atrocious.
That's as far as I got.
I wonder, would you even be able to read all of it, even if you read it from the beginning? Is that...
Honestly, I would have to read it a couple of times. I'm
my
genuinely like severely dyslexic. So I like when I read stuff, I have to read it multiple times to make sure that I read it right. This is how bad I am. During my school exams, for some of my like more text heavy exams like English, I had a scribe. I had a guy that I would talk to, and he would write down my exam for me.
That seems like cheating with extra steps.
Yeah, sure, but I had a pretty big disadvantage.
All right, fair enough. I'll give you that one. You got me there.
All right. Before we get back into the game, we had a Foxtrot impression from you earlier today.
No.
I want an ex-scoundrel impression from you.
Oh, Rupert, shot your beak. I'm casting in here.
Oh my god, what? That was just your Foxtrot expression, like your Foxtrot
All
impression.
UK accents are almost the same. Like, you guys talk about orcs having an Northern accent, and I'm just like that. You all sound alike.
No, you can't understand a word Orcs is saying. That's how he talks. Scoundrel speaks. His voice comes out as the brown note. It's like he's just everyone's very different. You just don't hear us, right?
All right, listen. I don't think you're right. I think you're wrong, and I have nothing else to say to you. There's nothing more than that. All right, you should feel
all right.
that.
Well, I'll talk to the audience right now. We've had a pause, unfortunately. I'm not entirely sure what that was going to be, but it looks like our issues are resolved. So we'll be coming back into. I don't know. I'm pointing at us. We'll be going back into the game in a moment now. So yeah, won't be long till we get back into the action. Goldborg, you got to talk to me. This is how this works. We have to work off each other, buddy. You can't just ignore me.
Yeah, you ignored my joke. I said Resolve played earlier, and you ignored it.
Oh, because you're not funny.
I guess
that's why you are
that's
funny.
A good point of it.
You are funny, and this is how funny he is. He did a very funny video earlier, and it was so funny that it got posted on our Twitter. Now, if you don't follow us on our Twitter, make sure you go over to NLC LOL on Twitter and give us a follow. Make sure you also follow us on Twitch.
Yeah,
so you get notifications when we go live. There we go. That's my.
Are you still talking?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, but I want to talk now. I kind of want to reiterate on the roster Dusty have put together as well, because Dusty's usually been known for going for still some high caliber players in there. Like, you'll remember the likes of Chelm, but this time around they did go for some players who did not finish too top in the top of NLC. Like, Balu did very well with Trick, but M-Test and Zombie really only players that really got far forward towards the end of last split. So it's going to be interesting to see with the reunition, or the what do you call it, M-Test and Balu reunited, how they're going to be able to perform in this bot lane, because you can see there is a lot of trust being put towards them. The fact you're going for a lane like the Thresh and the Tristana, it's just a lane where you're like, level 2, we go ham, all right? I get the hook, I just flash on them, we'll try to get on them. But you can see Prosper already trying to stop that with a Tahm Kench pick. And I think it's interesting to see Prosper and Tahm Kench as well, because last split, he was the guy where we always talked about, you need to keep him in the bottom. You cannot let him roam. And this time around, if you leave Drakta alone, he's just going to get flashed on by Balu. They're not going to let this Ashe farm up if he's ever alone.
Wazor just catching the wave. It's a pretty sustain heavy top side here. Obviously got the grip from Zombie on the set, and then Wazor just Deathbringer stance and all the sustain Aatrox has built into his kit. Don't really see too much kill pressure for the moment over here. Mid lane's pretty equal in the old farm department. I'm actually quite curious about the Jace versus Lee Sin matchup, on how you think this goes.
Well, to be fair, like, I've seen from the champion that I've seen into Lisa, and Renekton seems to be one of the most staple ones. I've seen a lot of times where there is windows for Lee Sin to come in and punish the Jace, specifically in some of the melee forms as well. Yes, he can knock you off, but the fact that you max E on Lee Sin and people most of the time won't really respect how long that range is, there is still a point for you to get in there. Jace, while being a lane bully, is like a glass cannon, still very squishy, and Laser is just walking out of there after Savior trying to come up there and find a little sneaky gank on him.
So I need to be very careful though. Fury could have gone for something there, decided not to invade into the enemy jungle blind. I would advise that is smart.
You're so clever.
I honestly, sometimes my brain is just on another planet.
Yeah, I know. And, you know, with the game plan as well, because at some point in time, this Tristana, not necessarily going to get outscaled. She is going to scale with that range. She's always going to be a huge facilitator here for the team, or backline carry for the team, rather. But Ashe, on the other hand, as soon as she does hit that level 6, she starts to become the facilitator that Singularity is looking for. She's the one you can be creating these plays around, and you can see while having this Thresh Tristana lane, Prosper and Draktar is doing a really good job of having them pushed in, doing a really good job of not giving them any windows of where they can actually find and engage. And even if they should fight and engage, you will have to have Kenji in the background, ready to disengage.
But for the moment, we're seeing Singularity have got the push in this bottom side of the map. There's a Zombie just going to go in for a trade versus Wazor. Realistically, like I said, not really too much kill pressure. Zombie able to break the chains, and actually Wazor is going a little bit low here. One more face breaker and Zombie might be able to get the damage off, as Wazor sustaining up pretty heavily here, and yep, there it is, top lane.
There's just some very risky trades here. You see the wave is stacked. Had there been an Italy up here, it should just have been Wazor going down for the dive. And I think that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for one of the teams to finally make that breakthrough with the pathing. You can see Nolty down in that bot side, trying to see if someone is going to be overextending, finding an Italy with the Sapio here as well. But for now, no teams are even willing to try too much. And I think that's fine if you're Singularity. You're waiting for that level 6. Then you can start setting up the objectives, because you need level 6 on all your champions, basically. Or the Equalizer with Nolty and Hook.
Yep, into Gobble, Prosper spits Dragdar back out. There's the heal being used. Nolty's coming in. They got the Lantern. The junglers are both joining in as Prosper jumps into the face as Nolty just cooks Baloo. M-Test is low, but he's able to get to the tower. The Singularity happy with just that one kill.
And honestly, I can understand the thought process of Baloo, specifically when you pick that Thresh and you have Tristana, you're like, we need to get something out of our laning phase. But fact is, that was just so overforced.
Wazor pops the World Ender. Zombie's doing a lot of damage. The level 6 to level 5 is just coming up huge. Zombie flashes away, and the Triumph will heal him up. 2 clutch fights in a row.
And the solo kill for Zombie, that's really good to start it out with, specifically after what happened down in that bot side. And Wazor just honestly disrespecting that one, taking a trade he really did not need to. Still had flash when he died as well. He thought it was going to be enough with the level advantage and the healing coming out here, but decides not to flash. And the last auto attack for Zombie, well, it's just going to be enough. He almost died to the minions as well.
It was very, very close there. Thanks to that Triumph, able to survive as he's going to teleport his way back up towards his top side. Got himself the execution as cooling. So that's a really nice pickup for a pretty, like I said, sustained heavy lane. But the difference is Wazor hasn't got anything like that. He's got the Cole, he's got the longsword. So Zombie definitely going to be winning these fights in the next few moments. Now, we're seeing 3 members of Singularity have invaded into Sawyer's red side. And Sawyer has a blast cone, so we'll be able to escape this onslaught from Singularity as Nolty steals away the red buff. Rift Herald not quite up yet. They have still got that Ocean Drake if they want to play for that. Singularity have got the bot lane pressure to work with if they want to do so.
Here's the thing, though. Meanwhile, Wazor was trying to get in there and get the red buff. Zombie had just set up a freeze, so like he is really far behind right now. He's a couple waves behind. He's a level down, and it's a big wave pushing into Zombie as well. They're not going to be able to dive this one, so Zombie off in this top lane after that solo kill is just feeling really confident. It's going to be hard for Wazor to find a leverage to get back into this game, and it's still obviously the laning phase, but I think we're just waiting for that level 6 down on this Ashe right now. Half hit it now. You got some skirmishing potential, and speaking of potential skirmishing, Nolty, it does look like he started off the Rift Herald towards that top side of the map. So as soon as that go down, we could expect Sawyer to start the Drake as well.
Yeah, Sawyer's going to start it up. So both of these objectives are going down. It does mean Dragdar is going to be a little bit on that weaker side of the map, but has spotted out Sawyer with the hawk shot. So has the vision, has the knowledge of the whereabouts of everyone. The Rift Herald's already been picked up, and Sawyer pretty low here. He's looking to steal away the red buff, but Prosper coming over, and Sawyer's just going to leave this jungle. Doesn't want to overstay now. Like you said, now that they got that level 6 on Dragdar, they can actually set a play up. You've now got the Rift Herald on Nulty, and Nulty's now working his way down towards the bottom side of the map. So Dusty do have to be a little bit careful right now, as if they find themselves caught out, it could be very, very dangerous for them. Almost caught out by the volley, but Baloo able to get away to safety in time.
And Emtus here deciding not to back yet. We could see Dragdar just push in this wave and just try to see if they could out-rotate their opponents here with a rotation towards the top side with a small little lane swap, but seems like they just want to extending this one. And once again, back to a bit of a stalemate between those teams here, and no one really willing to pull the trigger in too many plays, so they're just kind of fighting around this small pressure we see in the lanes, trying to see what they can get out in the jungle. You saw Nulty trying to get that red buff, Sawyer trying to fight back and potentially get in and sneak the red buff out himself, not able to, and that's kind of just these small fights between these two teams that we're witnessing.
Hook's not going to quite hit onto Dragdar. We're actually seeing some action here in the mid lane as the equalizer's been laid out. Was he able to get away though? Fury misses out on the Q with the Sonic Strike. Don't think he would have taken it anyway. He's just got that whip.
But I mean, Nulty's not done yet. You look at him towards the river here, and Zombie is pushing far forward up here, but nothing's not really happening. He decides to back here, but Zombie with no flash obviously is a vital point, and we talked about it. Waster still a level down. Zombie level 9, and Ash, I don't know if you call it, the Scouting Hawk does come out. Doesn't actually spot the Nidalee here. Really good pathing.
Yeah,
Sawyer by racking it
I
over
think this
here.
is really smart by Sawyer. He knows that that's something that Dragdar is going to be looking to do, so pulls the camp out of its pit and just fights it outside. Really smart kind of clearing there from Sawyer. There's a Zombie and Wazor just continuing their scrap fest, which we are pretty much just seeing consistently here in the top side. Zombie will eat that Infernal Chains, and actually going to come out on the worst end of the trade. Does get the Facebreaker shield off as well for a little bit of return damage, and both of the top laners walk away with the same health bar.
But it should just be a matter of time before we see a dive here. Like, you can see now,
Yeah.
Wasi pushes in the mid lane. Now they're running around in the jungle. Like, I think they should be setting up some push. Oh, no.
Dragdar, you got to hit him, buddy. You got to hit those. I was about to say, because what I really wanted to see was Ash Arrow into kill, into tower, and plates from the Rift Herald. But fumbling that Ash Arrow, really, really costly for them now. There's only a quarter of the timer left onto Nulty, so he may just try and force it in the mid lane. He's got Prosper with him. Has been spotted out by the Vision. So it looks like this may just be the game plan, but Dusty are aware and are ready for this one, as here comes the kick as they're going to lay the equalizer down. Warski is just cooked. And that should just be the Rift Herald placed in mid.
It was about time we saw something like this happen. Like, I've just been waiting for one of these two teams to pull the trigger, get pressure in a lane, move that pressure elsewhere on the map, and equalize on it. Finally, mid lane, Warsi, no flash, Fury finds a beautiful kick, and they're able to get some plating here, get a kill, and by these small leads, finally get something out of this one. And I've kind of been missing that for Dusty at the same time. Sawyer right here, 0-0-0 on the Nidalee, but it's not like he's not had lanes to play for. Zombie, easy lane to play for, level up ahead, already got a lead. Make sure that you do something with the pressure you have in this early game, or else you're just gonna fall behind. I know that that's like kind of forehead by saying that. If you're not getting ahead, you're falling behind. But it really is about this meta. Is whoever is pulling the trigger usually gets to be the one deciding the pace of the game.
That's pretty much what's been displayed in all of our games today as well. So you can really see that being shown off. As had a few teams who have had pretty decent early games, but just haven't had the pace, haven't had the decisiveness.
Can I test your memory? There's been a specific champion. Yeah, what champion is 100% win rate so far today that's had more than 2 appearances?
Is it Lee Sin?
It actually is, Jake.
I'm smart, I swear. Woozy gets hit by the equalizer, able to escape that onslaught. And Weasel, this is probably a bit of a rough side of the map for you to be on. Baloo is there. Weasel trying to dodge away on as much as possible, but Sawyer's coming in. They're just going to slam him back. They got the lantern. He's able to put the whirlwind and flashes away to safety, but pulled in and taken down.
That is just so disrespectful. You have vision around the Drake. You can literally see, oh, Thresh is not in lane. We don't see that bot lane. Nidalee is not here. Why are you walking up to that wave? Cut your losses. Now you gave them a kill, and you still lose the wave.
And for that, you're going to lose yourself the tower. That was first tower as well. All the plates onto Zombie. Zombie is absolutely enormous right now. Got himself a gigantic gold lead. 2100 over Weasel. There is a bit of a deficit in the mid and in the jungle. Jungle starting to grow as Nulty is stealing away more and more camps from Sawyer.
But it's all going to come from the pressure as well, and Zombie should be able to utilize that. Like, it can be so hard for Waster because he's put in this position where either Zombie is pushing the lane in and he'll have to freeze it on his side of the top side, and while he freezes, well, Zombie is just able to walk out and do whatever he wants to always get a man advantage for his team. Or you get the other end of the spoon where it's just Zombie is freezing on you and Waster just can't do anything. He's just falling behind. And then if Dusty is just respecting the roam from Waster, they'll lose even more. So from the top side of the map, from that solo kill, from that dive now from Savio, it's just Dusty who's putting Singularity in a very difficult situation.
Oh, Crossfair. Wait, supports aren't balanced.
That's not allowed. That's not allowed.
So much damage. He's down in level. He's a support, and he just says, "Yeah, I just win these fights, bro."
But he's not even got extra. Oh, he got one cloth armor.
He's got cloth armor and then merc treads. Yeah, that's not fair.
My role's balanced.
Don't let any support ever tell you otherwise.
Yeah. And with that, speaking of roles, or rather objectives, Shelly, the second, has spawned here, and you can already see the pressure around here is coming from Dusty with some really nice setup. Pink Walls has come out, and we talked about this top side once again. I just don't see any way they can get in here. Like, while Zombie is in the area, it's just too hard for them.
So they're going to try and still brute force their way through. Nulty has ultimate. Dragdar has ultimate. Fury comes in. Throws out the kick. Hits onto Herald. And
Arrow coming up.
It's now Singularity's chance to start this up. There's the arrow. They've got the follow-up. The equalizer comes in. You can't even take that lantern to safety. Sawyer will lose his life.
And this is some of the creative engages we are talking about with Singularity. Is it consistent engaging from the bottom side up towards the Herald with an Ash Herald? No. But when it works out, it's great. It's absolutely perfect. They will get the Rift Herald because of engages like that.
And they can probably crack mid lane tower with that, which really opens up the map for them. You can see already Crossfair's hanging about in this mid lane. Same for Baloo. I think they're both pretty aware that this might be an area where the Rift Herald goes down. Looks like for now, though, it's just back to the jungle, back to farming for Nulty. But Zombie, he wants to get a kill onto Weasel here. The Infernal Chains are going to get broken. He uses the Face Breaker. Remember, there's no tower here, so he can slam him back all he likes. Weasel pots the World Ender. Has got Nulty coming in, but Warzy's also there. Misses out on the Shot Blast. There's the Face Breakers. The To the Skies will secure that kill. Fury kicks in forwards, looking to try and kill Zombie, but not able to find him. Fury's not done yet, though. He lands the kick onto Warzy. Hook hits the minion, and Fury continues his onslaught into the Dusty members. Misses that Q. The ultimate goes down a little bit late by Nulty, but they have a large wave to work with. Low health bars on Dusty. They're going to use the Rift Herald here.
Yeah, I mean, you can argue that's not the best death, but it will discure the reset timers coming in from Dusty here, so you can get a lot out of this. You still have the Rift Herald if you want to deploy it and can potentially get another turret. Mid lane, no one to clear it either. That's a low turret, so Singularity should be able to pick this one up again. So yes, Waster does lose his life, but he's already behind. The rest of Singularity, they're able to get some gold onto their carry members.
MTES was able to pick a tower up in that meantime, as Dragdar will take the tier 1 in the mid lane. That's another turret going down. It's 2 for 2 so far as the turrets go. The gold is just 100 separating both of these teams. You see Warzy lands a Shot Blast onto Dragdar. Guardian obviously ate up some of that damage with the shielding, but we are still in early days of Warzy's Jace. We saw in the last game what Jace is able to do. Actually, it wasn't the last game.
Yes, it was.
The second game. It was the last game.
It was the last game.
My brain is
Romeo and the
working.
Jace. It is.
Thank you.
Well,
It was a
not
Romeo.
really. Like, it's a 50-50, right? But you're absolutely half right, I suppose. This Jace, as soon as he does get onto these 3 items, he is going to be an absolute monster. And, after that point, of course, he's only going to get stronger. But it does come down to you finishing that Moramana, the lethality you get from the likes of Eclipse here, and just burning down the HP bars of the opponents that you have right here. So even though you have some pseudo frontlights and Wazo and Fury, they're not going to be building too much armor outside of their Ninja Tabis or plated steel taps. So this Jace will hurt as soon as you get onto those items.
Oh, Wazo can see that there's a kitty cat about, but he has got himself a catfish who has been caught out by Baloo. They've used the box already. Prosper's flashed away as the volley's going to slow them down. So's the tongue lash. Nobody's going to get caught today. The dragon has just been getting done quietly by Nolty in the background, picking up the second dragon for his team.
So here's the
tower
thing.
in the bot lane's going to get worked at by Fury, able to take that one down. So we are now ahead in turrets in favor of Singularity. And remember, Nolty still has this Rift Elder. He's just going to summon this here. And
That's the thing.
Dusty are kind of sleeping on that.
They really are right here, because when you're sacrificing the Drake, usually most of the times you think, oh, we cross-map a play on towards the next tower where we can get that or dive them to get some extra gold. They only got jungle camps.
MTS gets clipped by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. He heals, he buster shots, and he's able to jump away to safety. But here comes Nolty with the Equalizer, not going to quite clip. Sawyer jumps to safety as well as the Harpoon won't hit. And Singularity unable to find their kill.
But still, once again, Dusty's just caught sleeping here. They lose the Drake, they lost the bot tower, Shelly got a second charge. I even think they got the second tower down towards this bottom, and they burned the Flash of Emtem's both summoner spells. So Singularity just getting everything on the map, only for a couple of camps that in the end Nolty was able to pick up. And oh, poor Wazo. Have he not suffered enough?
Wazo getting jumped onto by Zombie, trying to jump away, but the hook is going to hit him as the Infernal Chains break. Wazo pops the ultimate. Prosper is going to swim in as the Lantern gets used, and Wazo, he is not done. He wants to continue, but Nolty eats a spear. Here comes the slam down. Wazo's low HP. Fury slides in. Everybody's health bars are low right now. There's the Equalizer, beautifully laid out as Dragdar comes in onto the flank. Throws a slow onto a couple of members, and a couple of kills have already been picked up as Baloo is slowly but surely getting taken down. Gets lanterned out and spat out as Dragdar secures the kill. Singularity come out on top.
And it's just so tough for them to keep at it here. You can see they're so desperate to get ways that they will get him in the end, but for the cost of 2 of their members, and while this pause has happened, I think it is honestly good for Dusty. I need some time for themselves here to really slow down what's happening, and we get a replay of this solo kill in the early game here.
Oh, as well, look at something while we're looking at the brown screen of the pause. Could have got more here, but M-Test and Sawyer able to flash away to safety. Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
I'd love a Kit Kat right now.
I would absolutely love a Kit Kat. I love them. It's quite hot though. There'll be actually hot Kit Kats are kind of nice. You know when it's like a hot day and you take the Kit Kat out and it's slightly melted, so the chocolate's slightly warm. It's kind of like a melted Kit Kat on the biscuit. Love it.
Put them in the fridge, honestly. On hot summer days, cold chocolate is just better. I don't know what's on about you. Like, oh, melted chocolate's just my favorite. It's like a biscuit with Nutella.
It's not my favorite. It's just nice. It's one of the few kind of like biscuit / chocolate bars that you can get away with it being slightly melted.
Yeah, but is it only? It's not only going to be slightly melted though in this weather, is it? Like,
no, in this weather, no.
Disaster.
It is flipping boiling. How hot is it in Denmark?
I think it's
today. How hot was it?
Like 19, 20-ish.
20. I wish it was 20 here, buddy.
Yeah,
it was 28 earlier today.
Wait, when?
Earlier today, not right now.
No. When
Shut
did
up.
I ask?
Shut up.
When did I ask? Right.
I hate it here. I hate it here.
Right. Let's get back to the game.
Hello, and welcome to the NLC, where our color casters are completely mature.
That's all right. I can live with that. I'm only 22. All right. I'm a couple of years younger than you guys. I'll take it.
Actually, a baby. Oh god. I mean, to be fair, when I was 21, I couldn't grow a mustache like you can. Not
now
you've got it
shaved
anymore. I know you shaved it.
Yeah, I don't know what I prefer. It's just something like sometimes you look in the mirror and you're just like, man, something needs to change. And speaking of changing,
Sawyer, arrow clips. Fury finds the kill. Beautiful little pick up there.
And once again,
Ragdoll.
like we talked about it, Dusty just not finding their way back into this game. They keep getting picked off by Singularity, and we talked about that engage on Singularity. It's kind of limited. You're depending on hitting these arrows or hitting these kicks, but they're just finding them every time. And now onto the Baron, 4 versus 5, no jungle for Dusty. This is looking dire for them.
Looking incredibly dire. The Baron has picked up for Singularity. Dusty can do nothing but walk away. Resets will come in. Maybe Dusty take a tower with this wave from Warzy, but that is going to be all they gain off that. And just to quickly follow up, I think you look great with both facial hair and no facial hair.
Oh, thank you. I think you look very good right now as well, but I think you should also go back to the metallic silver hair. That was
Silver hair.
Yeah, that was off.
It's just such a pain to keep. I loved having silver hair. It was just such a pain to keep.
You rock
Honestly.
the E-boy look. You rock the E-boy look.
I know I rock the E-boy look. I hate that I do. I actually genuinely hate that I do. Now, teamfight looks to be breaking out. Ashar is going to connect into the equalizer as well. Nolty's on a killing spree. Fury is just going to get the kick off, and he's following up onto Baloo. Those walls won't slow him down, and Sawyer's spears just don't do enough damage. Dusty lose 2.
And it just seems like we're repeating ourselves at this point as well. You know, it's like Dusty tries to find an engage, just try to farm in the jungle, and they're just getting engaged on immediately by Singularity, and they're kind of falling for the pressure now as well. Baron buff is up. They're just pushing down these waves now, and it's been a slow start from both teams, but Singularity finally, after getting this Baron, has started to pick up the pace. They're getting the pressure in the mid lane with the 3 members, but they're also getting the pressure in the top side with Wazer finally being a level up now. And in the bottom as well, Fury is pushing up a wave. So everywhere on the map, Dusty is just losing out at the moment, falling into the pressure.
Was he now starting to do a little bit of damage there? It wasn't groundbreaking, but we are getting there.
And that's kind of the question as well. You know, that's what they're fighting for right now. They want to stall the game as long as they can to finally get those items onto their carries here. 3 items. You can imagine that needs to be the magic number, but at the same time, you got some scary carries from the side of Singularity as well.
So it's going to land the spear. Zombie's actually just hunting Dragdar down. Can't quite get the stride breaker range off. And oh, okay. Okay, maybe Warzy's not doing that long range damage, but Sawyer definitely is.
And that's only on 1 item as well.
Oh, no,
finish
wait,
up the
so-
Night Harvest. Oh,
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
I think he'd be fine now. He started to pick up some ability haste and can finally dash out of these situations with a fairly low cooldown.
Oh, there's the Ashar. They were just baiting as Warzy just able to heal up. Dragdar's trying to get the damage off. One last volley, can't quite find the kill, and Warzy just about survives.
Cloud Soul is up as well after that exchange, and with Warzy forced off, you would imagine that there's no way they can actually contest this. He does have that teleport, but the rest of his team's just not in a position on the map where they can confidently come up here and contest this dragon. And Soul Point going over to Singularity now, and they just get more and more into this game as the time progresses.
Let's take a quick look at the items as we're 25 minutes into the game. We've got 2 items on pretty much everyone on Singularity. Those second items almost coming in for everyone on Dusty as well. It's only really Sawyer and Baloo who are behind in that area. But the third item's just been finished up for Fury. Nolty's just picked up a needlessly large rod. BF Sword and Pickaxe just been picked up for Dragdar. They are getting closer and closer to their next kind of big items. And they are 1 off Soul. And Cloud Soul's actually really nice for this team. Just purely because you want to be able to fire out as many Ash arrows as possible. Also gives Dragdar a bit more kind of speed and survivability. Really nice for them to work with. And obviously when you're playing on the Aatrox, having that extra movement speed from the World Ender as well means it's really easy to kind of line up all of your Darkened Blade spots. As Fury has to be a little careful. Hook's going to go wide, and Fury just about able to survive this. 3 members about, but Fury's just feeling himself. The Ash Arrow is going to come in, and Fury slides in, jumps straight back out. They've now got M-Test coming in as Nolty makes his way forward. The hook goes wide. Fury slides back in as the equalizer is laid out absolutely flawlessly. They do look for Dragdar, but Prospect gobbles him up. Dragdar's trying to jump away, but Zombie will hunt him down. Dragdar buying a bit of space, but that's going to be a kill picked up for Fury as Zombie takes him down. But this is still so Dusty unfavored. It's all Singularity. Nolty is making a run to the wind as it is a triple kill for Fury. He just mopped up the whole team. Meanwhile, Weasel cracks open the base.
That's the thing. Weasel didn't even have TP. He was just chilling in the bot side at 4v5. Dusty's just not able to equalize on it. A beautiful insect. It was just layered diagonally with the equalizer. Like, he followed the path perfectly. That was the red carpet. He just kicked him down off.
And that's going to be one inhibitor down just before the Baron comes up as well. Just before the Dragon comes up. It just gives them so much more to work with.
You just, wow, that champion damage as well. The fact Zombie has been dealing so much damage is, it's just unreal about it here. But here we will see the replay. And I think this, it's a respectable attempt from Dusty. It's not a lot of time you'll be able to come back in the game by just standing at your tower waiting for a specific engage to come through. But once again, Arrow connects. Fury is able to just go in, and he's so damn tanky. You can see they're barely dealing damage to him, and that right there was just beautiful. The equalizer basically on top of 4 members, forcing everyone away from them. And as soon as we get to this point in time, yes, you do get to get Dragdar down, but Zombie's trying to deal with Crossfire, and Fury is just landing a beautiful Sonic Wave there.
Don't worry. Oh, Weasel. He has honestly been cyberbullied this game. Able to sustain up a fair amount of time as he pops himself the stopwatch, and now Prospect kind of caught out on his own. Is Balut able to find himself the kill? Fury's coming in and goes for the kick, goes for the follow-up. Sawyer gets a lantern to safety, and that's going to be all she wrote for that. Or is it? It's all a bait. They look for Fury. Fury has the GA, so he's okay to tank this up. Here comes the volleys. Here come the slows. That box is only going to slow Singularity down for so long. Here's the kick from Fury, jumping into the middle of everyone. Remember, he still has that GA, but it's not even popped yet. M-Test on the run. Fury just healing up so much as M-Test and Sawyer able to escape, but Fury will finish up Warzy as he takes to the sky. Warzy able to pop the GA, and now Dusty are being forced out, are being routed out of their side of the map. They can run, but they can only run so far before they are hunted down by Singularity. Sawyer is making his way over. The spear not going to connect, and M-Test is trying to see if he can save the day, but the Ash Arrow is going to force the flash. Dusty just about able to survive, just about able to escape. The teleport has been used in the mid lane. What a fight.
Is that a fight? I feel like that's just cue the Benny Hill music and just run for it. Like, he's just out of there, but Nolty.
We're not done.
I guess not.
There's another teleport coming in. We are just not done. Weasel has got that World Ender, and M-Test is doing a lot of damage as the pop comes in. There's the kick by Fury. He lands the Sonic Strike, and M-Test is going to get taken out by Fury. It's a double kill. Picked up for Dragdar. Sawyer throws out a spear, but it only tickles Weasel. As
We're
now,
back at it.
Cue the Benny Hill music. The chase is happening again. This time, Sawyer might just be able to get away. It looks like Singularity have bigger fish to fry.
You say so, but...
Oh, no. The fish is going to fry. The fish is the one frying. Sawyer gets a level up. Lovely. And I think he's out. I think he's fine.
Come on, guys. There's no way you're catching this Nidalee. She's just going to jump. Give it up.
Wait. Prospect almost has Abyssal Voyage.
He will not Abyssal Voyage after that one. There's no way.
No, of course he wouldn't. He's just buying time. Dragon gets picked up. Now he has more movement speed. And look who he's found.
Yeah.
He's still chasing. He's gobbled. They've got the arrow. Prospect actually might just do this to flash forward.
No
he
way.
finally finds the kill. How long did he chase him for?
I feel like Sawyer was part of a chase for the past 5 minutes.
Oh. I genuinely, I joke you not. Sawyer literally laps top side of the map twice. That's
I was
going to
say,
went on for.
His jungle proximity is going to be around the top side, but not for the reason you'd think it'd be.
Oh no, Sawyer, that was just sad. That was honestly sad. Well, Baron and Soul now in favor of Singularity, and this is gearing up to be the longest game of the day.
of the season so far.
Don't. I knew you were going to say that.
And
You're the kind of guy that says, "I haven't seen you all year" on New Year's Day.
you can't prove it.
I don't need proof. I just know it. I feel it in my bones.
You know what? That's fair. I think that's a fair statement. But with this, that Singularity is all these lead Singularity have finally gained them with the Soul, with the Baron. You'd think they'd finally be able to close the game before they made a third lap off the top side of the map.
You'd think, but let's see what's going to happen. The tower should crumble fairly soon. Here comes the slam. Here's the equalizer. The kick onto the backline. Fury, no GA this time, so he has to flash away to safety. The hook goes a little bit wide as in the middle of everybody, Zombie will finally fall down. M-Test is low HP, and Wazer wants to continue the chase. The Chilling Smite and the Harpoon will secure a double kill for Nolte as the next inhibitor will crumble down. Singularity probably don't need to take any more inhibitors to close the game out, but they are going to look to do so. They've still got the Baron. And these towers are going to just melt to these Baron minions and Singularity. Waiting for them to step forward as the final tower will go down. The equalizer is laid as the red carpet will cook another double kill for Nolte. And it can only be a buster shot for safety for M-Test just to protect that KDA. 33 minutes on the clock. And the Nexus falls. Singularity take game number 4.
I feel like if you're Wazer here, you just all chat top diff. Like 0, 5, and 7 towards the rest of them there. Did not have the best day to start off the season, but you know, that's the best thing about bad games at the start of the season. It's not the one we're going to be remembering towards the season end. So I mean, if you had that in game, might as well be the first one, right?
Exactly. I mean, I honestly think that was kind of a sloppy game by both teams. Singularity did pull ahead and they did look like they're playing better with it, but there were questions for me. I would like to see, you know, Singularity versus other teams. They're in the same group as BTXL and Resolve, who we saw in the game before this, and that was a pretty close game. So I'd love to see how Singularity pair up like the versus of like teams like the versus of Resolve. But for now, it's time for a break. So I'm going to say it. Have a break. Have a Kit Kat. See you after this.
All right, Singularity come away with the win here. Pretty convincing for them, actually. I think there was a bit of a lull in this classic Singularity lull towards that mid game, but they managed to kind of bring it back together and sort of get that win, which is important for them because we expected them to get this win and we expect them to be a top team in this split, and they certainly started off on the right foot.
Yeah, and honestly, I had personally my eyes on their mid game. Again, it looked very shaky in the last split, and it felt like it was the most decisive part of their game. Like the early, they were chilling because they didn't necessarily have to do anything, but the mid game, they put the pedal to the metal basically, and they just actually accelerated their entire lead. And it was such a breath of fresh air to see such a decisive Singularity coming into this play.
Yeah, and speaking of Singularity, we believe we have Nolty here for an interview, jungler from Singularity. And again, I think, Nolty, the first question that I have for you is, keeping your roster the same from split to split, has that, do you think, been a help to you? Because a lot of teams will often shuffle rosters up, they will often change players in and out, but do you think that has been like a big benefit to you, just keeping that roster pretty solid throughout the last two splits?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's really nice to come to, like, usually when you have your off-season, you just get thrown into the roster and everything's just, the first few weeks are just completely lost and the scrims are just a complete mess. But, you've already sort of had that period last split, I guess, with this team. So it was kind of just picking up where we left off, really, which is quite nice.
Of course.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, so obviously we've seen a lot of new and interesting junglers come out. We've had like Rumble, we've had Morgana, we've had Diana. And obviously jungle as a role changes quite a bit. Is there like a certain meta that you'd prefer to play in, or are you happy with like all the rapid changes you have to adapt to?
I mean, the rapid changes are kind of annoying, but I think I play pretty much like every role. I'm pretty happy playing carries, and I'm happy to take like, the back foot and play a tank like Sejuani or something. So I guess the changing meta does benefit me because I do play both styles. Well, at least I think I play both styles pretty well. So I'm, pretty comfortable with it.
What was something that you guys changed from the previous split to this split? Because your mid game actually shined in this particular game, and it was extremely shaky in the previous one.
Honestly, nothing's really changed that much. I mean, we've like sort of taken a new approach to our scrims and stuff, but I mean, currently we're at like a 37% win rate in scrims or something. So I guess the biggest change is we're losing more scrims. So maybe that helps.
Well,
Somehow.
true. Teams that win scrims actually lose their official game,
Yeah,
so it's
it's
better
true.
for you guys to lose the scrims, I guess. Okay, cool.
We literally went 0-4 in scrims yesterday, so I was like, guys, this means we're going to win tomorrow, so it's
There you
fine.
go.
So obviously in spring, you did pretty well in playoffs, got 4th place, but lost out to Nordavind. Question is, are you going to clap Kerberos this time round?
Yeah. Yes. Clap Kerberos, clap Daruk, clap all of them.
And finally, just because our producer asked, which of your wardrobe doors go to Narnia? Because there is some real Narnia stuff going on in the background there.
I think it's probably this one off on screen. You can't see it behind the fluffy thing. But yeah, that one is Narnia.
It's like a whole maze back there, mate.
It's the one-way trip.
Nolty, I'm really good to talk to you. We actually haven't had a chance to talk to you much over the course of the last split, and of course, I'm excited to see Singularity. I like it when teams stick with the same roster. I really do like it when teams kind of stick it with the same roster, give the team a chance to grow across a couple of splits, and I'm hoping that we get to see you guys at the top end of the table again, and maybe, fingers crossed, even go to the European Masters. Please give us 3 spots this time, Riot. Anyway, Nolty, I'll see you soon, mate. Have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow for more games.
All right, see ya.
And this is where we drag Orcs out again to do some more breakdowns for us. So Orcs, what are we looking at here?
So this is one of the team fights a little bit later in the game, but the execution on this one was honestly just stellar. The people I want to focus on is particularly Fury and Nolty in this team fight. So I'll just move it up to the point where we find it, but it's just the synergy between Arrow comes in and then Fury finds a little bit of a gap, and then it's just this moment here. I'm going to pause in a second. He gets the kick, and you can see the equalizer coming in this direction. You can see the kick as well, just connecting with all of these members here. It's just instantly team fight winning there, and you can see as it plays out, so much damage done. They get absolutely decimated. And despite the fact that Dusty managed to turn it around and actually take out Dragdar, the impact of that ult combination just means that even with the AD carry going down, Singularity are able to clean this one up.
They're finally. It's taken a while, but they get it.
Yeah,
They're
they
cleaning it
They
up.
do eventually clear it up.
They do
yeah.
eventually clean up the fight. I was waiting for it, but yeah, I think Trouble was right. I think they had a little bit of like a wobble in some of like the very early mid game, but then Trouble's right. Like they came in and just actually started smashing those big decisions and kind of like I think seeing that decisiveness from them is what we wanted to see. That's the evolution that we wanted to see from Singularity from the last time, because either Singularity stomped and won, or they had to stall it out to a really like good late game point where they had that really solid team fighting. But this time around, really good stuff from Singularity, and I'm hoping to see more of that throughout the split. Now we've got one more game tonight. We're treating you. We're treating you here at the NLC as we have a final game of the night. We're going to bring out Fnatic Rising, and they'll be taking on a Riddle to do our 5th game of the night.